All right, everyone, it's Columbus Day, and today is October 14th, 2024. Well, I'm going to take the day off, and I think you should too. But what better way to do that than to give you something to laugh about, something that you can just be entertained with? Well, as many of you know, one of our highest rated series on Have Faith, Let It Begin is our Crazy Date Stories. So I thought we'd take a look back and check out Crazy Date Story Part 10. The date where we had great apple pie, but something really unexpected occurs. Enjoy it, and I'll see you back tomorrow. Have faith, let it begin. Crazy Date Story starts right now.
Have faith, let it begin. When it starts right now.
Welcome to Have Faith. Let it begin. Here's your host, Angel Santana.
Ariel, can you say have faith?
Again.
Let it begin?
Again.
Say have faith.
Again.
Let it begin.
No.
No? Okay.
It's the boy.
Hi, Noah.
Noah!
Noah.
Jesus. Happy birthday, Noah!
Caitlin.
You did amazing.
You just put those back in. Noah.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it.
Shy.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it.
Shy.
This little light of
Mine.
I'm gonna let it.
Shy.
Let it.
Shy.
Let it.
Say.
Let it.
Say.
Yeah.
Good morning. You listening to Have Faith, Let It Begin. And it starts right now. How is that, Daddy?
It was good. All right, Crazy Date Story Part 10 starts right now. So, as many of you listened to last Thursday, I was given a temporary assignment to go to Louisville, Kentucky. And I decided to take that offer since, quite honestly, things were just not doing well for me that time personally, financially, and it was just an opportunity to advance my career and do all that I can. I'm really grateful that I did do that because, as many as you know, this is where I met my very good friend, my best friend, Chip. But we're not going to talk about Chip today, but Chip's going to hear some stories that I didn't even tell him that happened when I was in Louisville. So when I landed and touched down in Louisville, Kentucky, I started working for that company that transferred me there temporarily for 3 months. In the first 2 or 3 weeks, I decided to venture out with my buddy Chip. We went out, we went a couple nights clubbing, had a good time. It's when you're on a temporary assignment, you're constantly working. We were doing anywhere between 40 to 60-hour weeks. Do you remember those days, Chip? Oh, yeah. And only get paid for 40. But anyway, we're out there. We're doing everything we can. And when we used to have a day off, we would try to find time to, to cool down, have a good time. And Chip was new to the area, too. He had been there a couple of months, but he was somewhat new to the area. So we had a lot of things in common when it came to that. So we went out, had a great time, did some stuff. And what was very, very funny was as we were going out and having a good time, it got to the point where I started thinking, wait a minute, nobody really knows who I am over here. So even if I get dismissed, if I get stood up, this is the best way I can, I can practice on my dating game. So I figured there's nothing I have to lose here. Nobody's going to know that, that I even exist in Louisville. So I had a little bit more courage. So as we were doing what we normally do, working every single day, there was a young particular girl that actually worked in that facility that slipped me a note and asked me if I was interested in going out. I had to think about it because, quite honestly, I didn't want to cause a problem since I was technically her boss, but not really because I worked the night shift and she worked the day shift, but it was still within the company. I decided to meet up with her, and I told her that, I was just here for a couple months, and I was not looking for anything serious, but I was not looking to do anything other than have a great time and just have fun, and, the more friends, the merrier. She understood, and she thought it was, it was very nice that I was honest. So, we got together, we went to a diner. We ate some food, and we really didn't know what to do because, quite honestly, it was a weekday, and we decided to go to see a movie. I don't remember the movie, to be honest with you. So we went to the movies, and while we were in the movies, her phone kept ringing and ringing. And it was like getting to the point where I had to say something to her because she didn't have it on vibrate the first 2 times it rang. And finally I was like, listen, you got to turn that down. And quite honestly, there was not many people in the theater, but it was still a very, it was a distraction. So eventually we were done with the actual movie. She wanted to go out and get some ice cream, and I said, sure, let's go back to the diner, because at that hour it's kind of nowhere else to go. And we were in there eating ice cream and having a good time. We decided to get an apple pie, and by the way, the apple pies anywhere in Louisville was unbelievable. Everything is like literally made fresh, and it's to die for. But we'll get on with that later. So as we're eating dessert and discussing, she's asking me for a second date. And I said, sure, I had a great time. I'd love to see some sights this time. Maybe next time we can go out and we can hang out during the day on my day off, and you can actually show me a little bit around Louisville. And she says, yeah, no problem. And I had just at the time been to the Louisville Slugger Museum with my buddy Chip. So she had offered to take me there, and I told her I had just been there. So she decided to just drive me around town. And I said, no problem. The phone rang again. And I'm thinking to myself, I said, listen, if you got to take that call, why don't you take the call? Why do you keep dodging this phone call? She's like, well, it's complicated. And I said, all right, indulge me. What do you mean by complicated? She says, she says, it's my husband. I said, excuse me? She goes, yeah, it's my husband. I said, okay, hold on. You're married? She's like, yeah, I'm married. I said, hold up. You never told me you were married. She says, well, I'm really not married because I don't love him anymore. I said, okay, that's nice, but are you still legally married? She says, well, I guess so, because we haven't finalized the divorce papers yet. I said, well, what are you doing out with me? She says, I don't know, you just seem like a nice guy. Really, nobody knows who you are. So this way, if he says, who are you out with, I can say Angel, and he's going to say Angel who, and it's not like he can look you up because you're not in any of the phone books. I stood up and said, well, this night is over. I says, are you crazy? This guy could kill me. I don't know where I am. I could be literally tossed into the river or somewhere, and nobody would even know I'm missing. So I literally paid the check, and I drove her back to the meeting place that we had, and I told her really honestly, I says, I really would appreciate it if from now on we stick to being, colleagues at work. I'm your boss, and that at the end of the day, I think this is where it should end. And she started to cry, and she started to share with me that, she didn't know what else to do. And I got to be honest, part of me wanted to be sympathetic, and I was. I let her finish her crying, and I listened to her. But at the end of the day, it was something I just couldn't do. And it blew my mind. And all I kept saying to myself was, my goodness, does every date have to end with some type of an explosion? Even now that I'm in the Midwest, you're telling me that it's going to carry on? Yeah, pretty much it did. But I'll be honest with all of you. That was the only bad date that I had in Louisville. Everything else went pretty well. I ended up, meeting a couple people, having a good time. I actually got a chance to rekindle some friendships and meet up with people that I haven't seen in a while. And ultimately, it ended up being a better trip down the road. But yeah, that was my crazy story in Louisville, Kentucky. So how do I leave you on a cliffhanger for next week? Very simple. So what you don't know is, before I went to Louisville, I started talking to a young girl, and the young girl, when I were dating, we were dating for a little while, and the kicker is this. The reason why I went on a date to Louisville is because what I didn't expect to happen which ends up happening about a month before I'm getting ready to leave Louisville to go back to Providence. The girl that I was dating in Rhode Island decided to surprise me with a visit in Louisville, Kentucky. That's right. She drove all the way from Massachusetts to Louisville to surprise me. And when she did that, I never expected to hear what she had to tell me. And guarantee you all, you do not want to miss this. That's Crazy Date Part 10. See you next week for Part 11. Have faith. Let it begin. That's right, Ariel. We're done with another show. And it's always great to have this show with you, man love. You know, we're going to encourage each and every person to listen to our show every single weekday. Each and every day, right? Isn't that right, Ariel? Yeah. And she's smiling at me. Guys, enjoy your day.